Good morning and welcome to Inside Running on Tab Radio Racing and Sports.
Magnificio races to the lead, getting through Waterman's Bay. Magnificio narrowly from Waterman's Bay.
Our team will evaluate each race, interview leading contenders and update Tab Touch markets.
But now Delicacy, here she comes. Delicacy under the 59 went to Neverland and Real Love Dark Musket. It's Delicacy against the inside. Sublime, brilliant, greatness in the cup.
We trust you will enjoy this edition of Inside Running. Now, over to the team for their look at today's meeting.
We are heading for 36 today and mostly sunny. Winds are easterly, shifting westerly. Later on this morning, it is 8:05 as we turn over now to the Inside Running team led by Darren McAullay. Good morning to you.
Matty McDermott, top of the day. Good morning to you. Good morning, everyone. Lovely to have your company too on this Saturday for the running of the Bisley Workwear Cyril Flower Stakes. And do we have a huge day ahead? 12 races, of course, boosted after the abandonment of the Wednesday meeting, and 3 races have been added to the card today there too, so it makes it a very elongated program. Pleased to say, very few scratchings though through the course of it there. There are some smaller fields through the duration of the meeting, and the scratchings we can give you right off the bat. On a good 4 with the rail true, only the 3 scratchings. Note these down. Race 3, number 1, Clean 'em Up, which was an early one. Race 10, number 6, Too Soon. Race 12, number 7, Street Parade. Just repeating those numbers. Race 3, number 1, Clean 'em Up. Race 10, number 6, Too Soon. Race number 12, 7, Street Parade. Digby Beacham, Scotty Embry I refer to, occupy the seats here around the table in the studios of Tab Radio Racing and Sport, preparing to look ahead at this meeting today. Good morning, gentlemen, to both of you. Another warm day coming up, 36 degrees the forecast temp. We sneak in to be able to run this meeting.
That we do, Darren. A very good morning to you, Scott, Matt, listeners. Good to be here this morning. Good to be chatting racing, and it's an interesting card. It's probably not as fat in terms of value, Scott, as we have seen in recent times on a Saturday. It looks a little bit thin.
Morning, boys. It feels like we haven't been here for a while. When you skip those midweek meetings, you get a little bit edgy to get back to the races. I know old Cobby would have headed up to Geraldton during the week, a little entree to what a 12-race program on a Saturday.
Couldn't wait to get there, to be quite honest, Scott, after missing out on Wednesday.
Back here today, plenty of winners to be found, plenty of opportunity, but I'm in Digger's Corner. Probably not as much meat on the bone as I was hoping for.
No, I would tend to agree with you as well there. We'll get to this meeting. Matty, Max, just getting all the markets together here from Tab Touch at the moment. And further afield today, from a WA interest perspective, the CF4 Stakes, the Group 1 feature at Caulfield. Diggs, Super Smink, WA's mare from Dan Morton's stable, will line up. She's at around 25 to 1, $26 in the market over there, when they'll go at 155 today in that Group 1 Autumn feature.
Exactly right, Darren. Great to see her over there. Look, there's nowhere to hide, and understandably so, a Group 1, but when you run into Mr. Brightside, who sits among the best horses in this land, and along with others who are Group 1 winners, Group 1 performers, not saying she isn't, but this is a different level. Fingers, toes crossed that she has no bad luck and she can show her class.
Absolutely.
Just a casual $16 million earner.
Yeah, exactly. Who's about to head to Hong Kong and race against some of the best. Like, you've got a Caulfield Guineas winner in there. You've got another Will who looks like he's trending the right way. It's a class stacked. Sorry, it's a field stacked with class.
Yeah, absolutely. So good luck to those involved in Super Smink. Hope she runs a terrific race, but she's in elite company there today. The CF4 Stakes at 155. You can listen to it right here on Tab Radio Racing and Sport. Well, we've got the scratchings in. No riding changes at this particular stage. The meeting will open this morning at 11:54. We've got a lot to get through. Let's do it here with the first on the card. Over 2,200. Midweek class of race here. Matt, what's the market on Tab Touch look like?
Under 10 in market order shows $3 fair play. Intervention in a point to 5. 7 His Eminence into 7.50 from 11 Creasy, and at $8 from 9.50 Desert Edge. Blazing Tycoon heads the rest at 10. 20 and upwards remainder.
Play fair heading up our market. Backed in confidently. won with confidence last start, Scott.
I think he can win again too. I'm quite keen on his chances here today. He won a Class 1 last start. This is an open handicap 50 plus, so handicapping wise, the exact same race. He's the only 3-year-old in the field. With all due respect, he's the only horse on the improve in the field. Everything else is an older, well-exposed animal. I think Lactar sits him towards the back of the field, starts to make his run from the 800. As long as you keep him out of trouble, I think he can run past this lot.
He does get out the back, but he can finish strongly and he's improving with racing as a 3-year-old. Diggs?
Yeah, look, he's got some upside, no doubt about that, where some of these are well and truly on their mark. I've actually sided up with His Eminence again. I was with him the other day and clearly that was ill-fated, but it was a race that was dominated on speed and it has actually shown to be a decent enough form race. Like Magic Whistle has come out of that race since one on a Saturday. Long Jeans has run second. Barramundi since one. He's fourth up, out to a suitable trip. Troy Turner gets back aboard, and I'm thinking similar to what Playfair is going to be. He'll be back in the field and then making his run. And we know that Troy's very efficient when riding stayers. Price differential probably got me, so I went that way for His Eminence from 3 Playfair. I understand the support that he has met with and may well meet with some more because he looks like he does have a little bit of upside. 1 Blazing Tycoon, who didn't get a lot of luck last start, and 6 Desert Edge, who will ride the speed in a race where there looks to be a few that can settle in the front half. 4, 3, 1, 6.
His Eminence dropping back into a 50 plus today too, Scotty.
Nice bit of placement for sure, but 3 for me, Playfair, the horse on the rise. 4, His Eminence, the danger. 6, Desert Edge, gets 3 kilos, but was beaten a long way behind Playfair last start on the Scarp side. And 7, Intervention. The punters had a crack at this mare last start. She led them, she walked them, and she had absolutely nothing to offer. I'm just thinking today that maybe they take cover from barrier 1 and she might be back to the level we saw behind Profit and Power. 3, 4, 6, 7, but I thought $3 plus Playfair was enough.
Not the strongest race to start the day by any stretch of the imagination, but I like the 3-year-old, the youngest horse in the race, Like You, Playfair. I think he's got all of the upside there in front of him there. He's already won twice in 6 to beat number 1 Blazing Tycoon, and maybe Desert Edge coming through that Playfair run. My point of difference in the race is Cressy, the 9 from Greg Kersley's yard, drops from a 66 plus back to a 50 plus, a fit racehorse. Well enough drawn. There was some money, pardon me, around $11 into $8 there, early doors in the betting market. But 3, 1, 6, 9, Matt.
Okay, Scott has gone 3, 4, 6, 7. Digby's numbers are 4, 3, 1 and 6, repeating Darren 3, 1, 6, 9 in the open-up. Race number 2, this goes at $12.29 for Sweps over 1,200 and $3.40 into $2.75 in Cedric Nature. $5.50 into $4.20, the next best So Lucky. Third pick out to $4.80 is Zubolts, and then $4.20 out to $8. Now back to $7.50. Hit the jackpot. Heading the rest, Julie can run at $10.
The ex-Victorian Eccentric Nature heading up the market, one of those horses that have come across from the East Coast and made an immediate impact, went down to Bunbury, got the job done there, and looked pretty good in doing so, coming from the back of the pace, Diggs, and getting its rivals disposed of very effectively. What those rivals look like on paper, I guess that's the question mark.
Yes, it is, but one thing not only that took the eye, Scott, was the manner in which this horse went past his opposition down there at Bunbury, and we don't see that all that often, it must be said, but there was a huge amount of money for him off the back of an excellent trial, beating a horse who we've seen go to a new level this time in, but it was a really, really good go for this horse.
It was arrogant, the win, and when you watch it in replay, Clint Johnston-Porter got him into clear air, allowed him to build up a head of steam, but never really tested him at any stage. He never got dinkum on him because he didn't need to. He had them covered so effortlessly. He gets back, first time at Ascot. There are some risk elements to it, but I think this is a nice stepping stone for him. This is, again, a midweek transferred race, so we're seeing it first time on a Saturday in inverted commas, but realistically, he's just going from a Class 3 at Bunbury to a Wednesday at Ascot. I think he can sit back and zap these late. 6, I see no reason why you wouldn't keep following him.
What do you do with a horse like Hit the Jackpot, who's undefeated this campaign, and we've touched upon the, very unusual winning performance down there at Pinjarra last start on the straight track, where he finished up winning eventually over there on the flat side of the track.
Well, I thought you had to make him the danger. Vicky Corver will bounce him straight out on to the front. 1,200 metres might be at the end of his preferred distance range, but at the top of the home straight, he should have a 4, 5, 6 length head start on Eccentric Nature. One will be swooping down the centre, one will be hugging the inside running rail. I went 6 from 4. I threw 11 Zoobolts in there. Nice return to racing, drops a bit of weight. 7's so lucky, but she has to be a big query here. If she doesn't turn up today, then you probably look back on her and think, is she a wet tracker? Because her 3 runs at Belmont Park and Bunbury were excellent, but they were 2 heavies and a soft 7. 6, 4, 11, 7.
One of the things, Diggs, I tend to do with these 1,000-metre races at Pinjarra is park them almost over there in a different subsect to other 1,000-metre races. I just don't know how often it transitions from the straight 5,000-metre track to when you get onto a circle. Not saying for a moment that Hit the Jackpot's not racing well because it's unbeaten in the preparation, but I always just hold an element of caution with these horses that go there and win going down the straight. What's your view? I mean, it was an impressive win all the same.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt at all. It was a bizarre win because we just don't see it. But Brad effectively said, yeah, okay, if you want to go, I'm not going to fight you. I'll get down there. But the damage had been done before he'd got there, I reckon. The horse was clearing out from his opposition, and then he sort of let him sort of float down towards the rail. But very, very fast performance, a good effort, no doubt. I just thought the effort of Eccentric Nature down there on debut. The trial suggested, the recent trial, the second trial, suggested this horse was going to be in for a good prep, and then he went there and he made a mess of his rivals. And I'm thinking there's sufficient tempo here with a Hit the Jackpot, Divine and Nana with the cups on. I thought maybe Famous Journey, if he jumps, could take a position over the speed as well. So 6 for me, quite keen. From 11 Zoobolts, terrific return. And that form has since been franked again with Caporetto winning. 5 Divine and Anna and 4 Hit the Jackpot. Pretty keen here, the 6 though. 6, 11, 5, 4.
I like the blinkers on Divine and Anna here, and a bit of value still in the race. There's some spice. Eccentric Nature, though, is the way that I've gone from Divine and Anna here with the shades. 11 Zoobolts and 4 Hit the Jackpot. Scotty, your top 4?
6, 4, 11 and 7.
So agreeing here, everyone, with number 6, 4, 11, 7, you just heard from Scott, 6, 11, 5, 4, Digby, and 6, 5, 11 and 4 from Darren in the second. Third race at 4 after 1 for Morley Growers Market, a Class 3 handicap over 1,000, and with 1 coming out, favourite at 3.30 at the moment. This will show you from Salt Lake Shake and See You at the Session, both at $3.80 and $6 now. Star Power, they're the top 4. You can get 15 or better for those left.
How do you see this one, Scotty?
Fast.
This will show you back to 1,000.
And looking to cross Star Power. I think that she will cross Star Power ultimately, but won't be without a fight. And then you've got horses like a Salt Lake Shake punching forward as well. A couple of the roughies, your Simply Rossos and your Shooting Kentuckys, fresh bursting forward as well. But I thought that this will show you off what she produced last week was the starting point. I thought she was very good at 1,100 behind At Your Service. She was there for a long way and she was pretty gritty late.
Yeah, I agree.
Did she beat out Star Power, Diggs?
I thought so, yes.
Yeah, I had her mapped down as the horse that would lead, and probably Salt Lake Shake having to park outside of her. He's pretty quick as a rule, but I thought she might be too fleet of foot.
Oh, yeah. I think so. But in saying that, she's going to have to probably burn to get there, and she's going to have Salt Lake Shake to her outside. And I think Salt Lake Shake will ask some questions of this will show you. But 1,100 back to 1,000 off the spin. The form this time in's been pretty good. She's no star. She's not big, but she is quick, and she has the advantage of the rail at Ascot over 1,000. And in these 1,000-metre races, that's a huge advantage.
Okay. Are you going to lock her away as well there, Scotty, or not?
I am. I'm putting her on top. My only reluctance is I think if you look through all of her career form, Mitch Pateman's done everything in his power to avoid carrying weight with her. And it might be because she is so small. 58 on the limit for me. 6, this will show you. I put the 9 Fans in for second. I love the effort behind Magnasonic last start. Even prior to that, behind Eccentric Nature wasn't too bad. I thought he was a blowout chance. 4, See You at the Session. 3, Salt Lake Shake. There was realistically nothing between them in that West Speed Platinum last start. 6, 9, 4, 3.
Yeah, See You at the Session becomes interesting in terms of the map. Diggs there with a fair bit of intensity on up in front of it. With this will show you, no doubt, Salt Lake Shake, Star Power. It probably provides Chris with a great opportunity to just box seat with See You at the Session.
Well, he'll be just stalking that tempo, and if See You at the Session, has come on from that first up, fifth. I know it sounds funny saying that, a fifth, when he was only beaten 2 lengths, but I just think he might be zapping them late. But yeah, look, not a race I'm keen to bet into. 6 on top from 3 Salt Lake Shake, 4 See You at the Session, potentially the sniper in this race, and 8 Star Power, 6, 3, 4, 8.
6 for me as well. This will show you, but you'll be holding your breath, I think, in the last little bit if she can lead with the 58 kilos. I think that might be the element of doubt, if there is any.
Poor man's Mervyn.
Yes. What an apt way to describe her. I'm going 4. See You at the Session as the danger. 3 Salt Lake Shake and Star Power's having its 14th attempt at the 1,000 metres. Only 5 placings so far, and not a particularly great card here for whatever reason at Ascot, but it has to blend into the race the way it maps. 6, 4, 3. The one that I'm going to include is Pacific Boxer, that hasn't been given a mention at all. It's won 3 of 16. All have been with blinkers on, and gets a look at the shades this afternoon from barrier 2. So I'll include it for some value in the exotics. Matt, 6, 4, 3, 2.
And again, agreeing with 6, 9, 4, 3, the minor from Scott, 6, 3, 4, 8, Digby, and 6, 4, 3, 8 from Darren in the third. Now we'll look at race 4 of a dozen, and this is at 21-2, the PKF Perth Plate over 1,000. And the market leader at 265 is Storm Away. Into 480, Just Walter John. 750 now for Reconnaissance at $8. Who's Talking, and Messina and Monte Tremezzo both at 9 each.
Okay, the trials at Pinjarra, the straight 600 trials there, for me they've been difficult to try and evaluate in many, many instances. But I do think what we saw of Storm Away, who's nommed up for the Magic Millions, there indicated that this horse has got some ability for Mitch Pateman.
And to get a run in that race needs to be earning a pretty decent
indeed.
check.
Yep.
So I suppose if you are thinking about backing Storm Away, on the bright side for you is they're throwing the kitchen sink at him, trying to get him into that race next week. So he's not there for an educational experience.
Diggy?
Yeah, I love the trial, but I just don't know what to make of it, if that makes any sense. 600 down the straight, there were horses there, particularly these babies who were, and some of the older horses, you know, they're going down the straight, albeit over the 1,000, they got a little bit lost. So what you did like, though, at the back end of this trial was the manner in which he went through his gears. He got past, I think it was Reconnaissance, and then he cleared out from his opposition past the line.
He's not going to strike an A-grade field. In fact, it's probably not even a B-plus field in my view.
Yeah, I've seen stronger 2-year-old races. I thought the debut effort of both Just Walter John and also Who's Talking behind the General's Son, who will go to that Magic Millions 2-year-old classic next Saturday, were quite sound. Just Walter John had to cover some extra territory, didn't give it away. Who's Talking made a mess of the start but was terrific late. And the sectionals were really good, and you think with the benefit of that, experience is going to come on.
Now, agree. Not a race that I'm going to invest a lot of time into, really, but I think of what we saw, this $65,000 purchase out of the Magic Million, Storm Away, can give Connections some return on their investment today on debut. 5 for me to beat Who's Talking. Take your point, Diggs. Thought after blundering at the start there, very, very good late with the numbers that he produced. Just Walter John, well, again, it's a sticky gate that he has to navigate, so I'm not quite sure where he finishes up in all of this. They've tinkered with the headgear. And I'm going to probably include a horse that's attracted the eye of a few in Monte Tremezzo from Danny Morton's stable, Hellbent filly. She can go into my 4th box there for the pick 4, 5, 2, 1, 9.
Same 4, different order, 5, 1, 2, 9. On top for me, Storm Away. I thought watching all those trials, as tough as it is, watching the straight track trials, that he was the most impressive of them. 1, Just Walter John. 2, Who's Talking. And agree, 9, Monte Tremezzo. Not a bad trial from this filly.
Dig.
2 each way, Who's Talking on top from 5, Storm Away. Wouldn't be a shock to see him go there and win today. The trial was really good. 1, Just Walter John, and 6, Messina. Tongue tie goes on. Not sure about her talent levels, but again, she has the services of Chris Parnham today and race experience. 2, 5, 1, 6.
Scott is with 5 over 1, 2, 9. Diggers repeat 2, 5, 1, 6. Darren's gone 5. Storm Away to beat 2, 1 and 9.
Okay, we've looked at the first 4, 8 to come. Let's take a break. On the other side of this, we'll be back with more of our preview of today's Cyril Flower Stakes Day card from Ascot. You're listening to Tab Radio Racing and Sport.
TAB
27 minutes after 8 o'clock on this Saturday morning, heading for 36 degrees today for the Cyril Flower Stakes Day card. We're at race 5 of 12 in our preview this morning, and this race will go at 19 past 2. It's the reliable asset maintenance handicap over 1400, Matty, and it is a pay 1-2.
And into and at 340 Memory Parade, 420 Our Mate Archie, 440 Brazen Bid, the fourth elect at 550 Canny Rock is in a point of the other couple, 7 for Soldanell.
Small field, but Diggs, it's a pretty handy little race, this one.
Yeah, it is. You can make a case, I would think, for 6 of them.
Yes, I agree.
6 of them. Cable Boy, no.
Okay, yes. He lucks out. He's the only one not given a yellow highlight.
Sorry, Dad. Yep. But the other 6, yes, absolutely, I think you can.
That'll become costly for you long term.
Hope not. He's not listening.
You've still got time to change your mind.
Yeah.
Well, what did you finish up landing on?
Oh, I went Memory Parade again. Mm-hmm. It's probably the soft selection, to be fair, because she is rising in grade, and I just thought potentially another sticky gate, Scott. But what I loved recently when Chris was able to see daylight and he looked to his offside at about the 200, I thought, he's going to come out. And then in the matter of millisecond, he thought, there's a run there.
Is this going to become another family affair with the Caseys? I mean, surely they've got to give Steele a sniff. They've got to give him a lick at the ice cream, as you like to say.
But she quickened up really, really well, and she powered through the line at 14, and that's probably her best distance. We've spoken about that previously. She stays at 14. She'll do no work. And one thing, clearly, off what we saw a fortnight ago, she's got a good turn of acceleration.
And she's probably going to need it today from barrier number 1. She's probably at top of the home straight, going to be in a pocket somewhere.
Doesn't that probably, and this is where I've assessed the race, Our Mate Archie does map perfectly. Maybe if a Memory Parade can just get caught up for a little bit there and then have to do what you're exactly indicating, sprinting very quickly, as was the case last time around. I just wonder if Our Mate Archie might be able to get going a bit before Memory Parade.
Who leads this race?
Well, that's the really good question. I thought Bradley might come across with Brazen Bid.
Because he's the 11 and 12 out to 14.
Yeah, well, he's
also drawn sticky.
He's drawn sticky, but there's just no tempo, Scott.
No, there's not.
None. Absolutely none.
Does Our Mate Archie have to park up there if that's the case, sort of shotgunning Brazen Bid?
Potentially.
Well, the way that Jared rode Ginger Green the other day, you'd have to be tempted. He gave that horse every possible chance and nearly pinched it.
I couldn't have been more wrong last week with Canny Rock. Like, I didn't have him in my numbers. People were telling me, he can run your race. And he's gone enormous. He's out.
Whole stable's going great.
Yeah, going well. Is he not some hope here?
Of course he is.
He's one of your 6?
He's one of the 6. He's one of the... I've actually got him in for second.
Do we have a pick 6?
No. We did.
We'd miss it. Cable Boy, Bob.
Cable Boy just bolts in. 5, 6, 7, 3 for me. Memory Parade from 6, Canny Rock. 7, Brazen Bid on the, I suppose, the thought process, that Brad would be aggressive and find the top end. 3, Our Mate Archie, and that's being disrespectful to Fluoro Neuro because I think he had no luck the other day. Clint takes over today. Soldanell, my knock on her is she'll probably get back and needs tempo on a race. She can get a bit fierce, but 5, 6, 7, 3, not overly confident.
Okay, I've just had a text from Steele Casey, boys. He's listening in this morning there. He said, I'm having a lick of that ice cream today, Cobb.
Well, it's good weather to eat ice cream.
It is indeed. I hope he does. And I hope it tastes great because I'm going with him, Our Mate Archie. But I could have tipped any number of others.
Put the other 4 in order.
5 in Memory Parade. Maybe you can spin one around on Dad and Bro in the race. And 6, Canny Rock, who can conceivably win the race. And Soldanell's going well in a small field, probably suits if it can just let down and show that lovely turn of foot that she has been. And then you sort of leave out a Fluoro Neuro, who's a bit hard for me to follow at times, and Brazen Bid, they're expecting to go really well also. 3, 5, 6 and 2, and I can only but echo your sentiments there, Diggs, too. Sorry, Ron.
5, 2, 3, 7 for me.
There you go. That's how we've locked them in. Right. It's a family affair from what we can sort of...
And you want the superfecta back
5.
too.
Bring it back.
Scott's tip is 5, 2, 3 and 7. Digby 5, 6, 7 and 3. And Mac is with 3 to beat 5, 6 and 2. The 6th is at 3 o'clock, West Speed Platinum Handicap for Tab Touch over 1400. And firm at 320, Red Tory. 650 into 370, Stylish Lord. Out half a point to 7 Hour Rocky Bay, and 650 out to 850 Cruise to Victory. One other under $10, and that is Bird on a Wire, who is 21 into 9.
Is this a nice race for Stylish Lord to bounce back into the winners list today? It would appear to me to be the right type of a race, a drop-in class here, which can suit him. I thought he handled himself pretty well at his first tilt at 1400 last time out.
I think it's a great race for him. If Memory Parade goes well, if Our Mate Archie goes well in the previous, the form's going to be right in front of your face.
Down in class, down in weight.
Okay, and they took a little bit of the sixes as well the other day too. It didn't last long. It was in very robustly to 390 there in a few moments, Stylish Lord. So they were keen about the fact that he's lobbed into the right race, Diggs. I'm quietly confident that he can win this race today.
He should get a lovely run from that gate. Braden Garth has options, and wherever he elects to settle, he's not going to be too far off the leaders.
Okay. Do we lock him in? Scotty, are you keen as well?
I am. He's now into 372 from 650, so it's been a nice bullish go for him. I thought it was just the right setup. He could land 1 out, 1 back, 1 out, 2 back, getting the right run. Right time of the prep too, 4th up. He's been good all the way through. The first up run behind Norwich was a blinder. Second up, they went back to 1100. In hindsight, may have been a blue. Third up, they went to the 1400. He held his own behind a couple of handy ones. This looks the right race for him.
Okay, 320 Red Tory. What do you do with her, Diggs?
Oh, you have her in the mix. I thought the effort the other day was good in a race that was dominated by those two on speed.
It was certainly better, and I think the key there, Diggs, too, was the fact that she was able to get to the outside and get going and flowing, and she didn't seem to really, I don't think, enjoy racing in between horses at her 2 previous runs, and they may have diminished her record somewhat as a result.
She was very good. She's just got that racing pattern, which probably is going to work against her as she elevates in class, but she's going along okay, and the market's very keen on her. I went 1 Stylish Lord from 7 Red Tory, 3 Cruise to Victory, prepared to forgive that first up effort, and 10 Blazing Emerald's a horse who I think might need a little bit further than this, but I didn't mind that effort, albeit an easier grade. 1, 7, 3, 10.
Okay, there with 1 on top.
1, 3, 7, 4 Stylish Lord, Cruise to Victory, a forgive from first up. Red Tory knocking on the door, and 4 Success Play. It's a fairly similar setup to what he won in last time out. 1, 3, 7 and 4.
Cut and paste as well there for me. Race number 6. I've got no further to add, Matt.
Excellent. 1, 3, 7, 4. Scott and Mac, and Digby is 1, 7, 3 and 10 in race 6. The next 6 is headed by the Mrs. Max at 335 over the 1200, and they're all going around. And from 310 into 290, Ice Picnic. 3 to 330, Miss Flirtatious. 8 into 460 for Son of the Boss. And then Lon's Delight is 420 out to 5. The other 3 are greater than 15.
Well, I did like the return of Ice Picnic in that 1100 first up. Drew wide, got out the back, hit the line particularly well here. Gents, home in 33.8 virtually, and maps beautifully here from Barrier 4 this afternoon. I really thought the run first up indicated that he's going to pick up a race or two this preparation early.
I think that's the best part about this horse, Ice Picnic, is that he's so versatile. They went back first up, he charged to the line, but he was a 3-time winner leading throughout in Victoria. So they can ride him a lot more positive today.
He's got some good names against his form card from last preparation too that beat him home.
The runner-up performance behind Rope Them In, winner of the Colonel Reeves, huge in a Winterbottom, huge in a Gold Rush. You know, second to Storm Chaser, who I believe, if he'd stayed sound, would have been at that level as well.
Concur.
It looks a great race for him. I was quite one-eyed here with Ice Picnic. I think it's a lovely setup.
Do indeed. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do.
Digby?
He's a good fresh horse. It was massive, the first up effort. Savage the line behind All Play, who's clearly very talented, and I thought Ice Picnic would come on from that. 1200, big tick, no issue at all for me. Ice Picnic with the 60, I think he can win.
Okay, look, Lon's Delight is going really well, but I thought from Barry 1 we'll need an element of luck in a small field. It's a pay 1 too, of course, notwithstanding, but I think he's going along really well. I don't think Mitch could get him going more effectively. And then you've got Son of the Boss, who is racing ultra consistently as well. And, you know, you can find a spot there for Miss Flirtatious more than likely.
I think with Lon's Delight, I know when I first looked at it, I thought barrier number 1, that's awful for a horse like him, but it fell away. It's only a field of 7. I mean, if Holly Watson literally lobs him straight out the back from barrier 1, he can still get to the outside. He doesn't need to be in and amongst other horses.
True.
Settle 7th of 7, come to the outside.
Yeah, look, it might seem very simple, that theory on paper, and it might be very effective too if that's the case. So definitely there in the mix, but I think we all agree here with Ice Picnic. Second up, I've marked him down ahead of 3 Son of the Boss, 4 Lon's Delight, 6 Miss Flirtatious. Digby Beacham.
I am 1643, not much difference there. Ice Picnic, 6 Miss Flirtatious, 4 Lon's Delight, 3 Son of the Boss, 1643.
Same as Digby for me, 1, 6, 4 and 3.
There you go, making light work of it over there, Matty McDermott.
Yep, sounds good. 1, 6, 4, 3, bracket Scott and Digby, and then 1, 3 from 4 and 6 for Darren in race number 7. The 8th race, this is at 4:14, Bisley Workwear, Cyril Flower Stakes, listed race over 1,200. And with a small field, no third, $1.90 to $2.45, Twain's Angel, hitting 3.10, back into 2.75, Man Crush, enter point to $7, Norwich, 11 into 8.50, VAR Start, 13 into 9, Snow Dome, Manoli's Choice, the only other runner at 13.
Yeah, only the 6 runners in the Cyril Flower for a listed race. It's disappointing, but that's what we've got here at the moment in this particular class. I suppose the interesting thing in regards to this, if you're looking at the record of mares in the race, because they've won 4 of the last 5 editions of the Cyril Flower, and they include Real Danger, My Bella May. This will test you the last 3. And the form reference, given the fact that there's only 1 mare in the race, and that's Twain's Angel, is exactly the same form as what last year's winner, of course, produced, and that was Real Danger, who ran 3rd in Miss Andretti, Twain's Angel the same, then won a Scenic Blast, Twain's Angel the same, and then went on to win the Cyril Flower. Will it be the same?
Big chance. Same map. Drew barrier 1 in the Miss Andretti, barrier 1 in the Scenic Blast, barrier 1 in the Cyril Flower. Pick your own gate.
Yeah, so beautifully placed again, Twain's Angel from Sean and Jake Casey's yard. They're having a tremendous run at the moment. But I guess when you look at it, I didn't think that Man Crush was capable of doing what it produced last start.
No, that was... It'll sound weird. I would have thought that was career best from him last start in defeat.
And I think you could understand the reasoning why he'd make such a comment there. To miss the kick the way that he did, out the back, and then get home the way that he did there, I thought it was an outstanding effort in defeat, Man Crush. Was it enough, do you think, to turn the tables on a safe step here, Diggs?
Well, I think so, Darren. He gets obviously 2 kilos off Twain's Angel, and the interesting aspect to this race for mine, gents, is what does the map look like? And if he steps, and there should be no reason to suggest he won't, because that was hopefully a one-off. Normally he's pretty good out of the machines, Man Crush. If he steps, I think it's advantage Chris, because he can sort of dictate to Maddie what he wants to do. It's a very tactical battle. Norwich is your leader. Does Man Crush sort of sit at his flanks? Does he break open this field? If Man Crush steps, I think he's going to be in front of Twain's Angel, and he's a bulldog. He'll be hard to get past.
Gets a nice swing in the weights as well on that defeat last start, Scott, for a great performance.
Well, I see it very similar to Digby. I just see in my head this scenario where Chris Parnham's just on the outside of Matty Derrick, and it's Man Crush and Twain's Angel, and she might be travelling really well, Twain's Angel, but I just don't see her getting off the fence today.
No, I'm going to be a bit soft here in my approach to the race. I'm going to put a bracket around them, but I'm going to lead with 1, Man Crush, the winner of the Miss Andretti in this fabulous effort in defeat in the Scenic Blast, getting 2 kilos on Twain's Angel. And I think where Chris can dictate from in the race there, I think that he can turn the tables. I'm 1 and 3, but as I say, very, very tightly assessed together. Norwich is going to lead for a long way here, Dig.
Yes.
Coming through that effort in the Scenic Blast. And I suppose you've got to include Ollie's Choice there for some value in a small field. I didn't mind the trial. Very impressive. Didn't sort of beat that much home in the trial, but beat them authoritatively, and a pretty capable horse too on his day. So 1 from 3, 5 and 6 for me, Scott.
1 from 3, 5 and 2. I thought Snowdome was a clear improver last start in the Scenic Blast, but 1, 3, 5, Man Crush, Twain's Angel, Norwich. I'm going to make that my play of the day, those 3 to run the trifecta. I think you box up the 3 of them, you could get the blowout with Norwich pinching it. $6, or 6 combinations it is. 1352.
Okay, telegramming a latter part of the program.
1352 for I as well, same as Scott. I'm thinking Man Crush can turn the tables on the mare, who got her much deserved and important black type win alongside her name, that being Twain's Angel last start.
She did indeed. Maddie McDermott.
1352 from both Scott and Digby, and Macca's gone 1 to beat 3, 5 and 6.
Time to take a breather. We'll turn for home in our preview right on the other side of this commercial break, back with a look at the last 4 races, and that is the Swan Draft Handicap. And Diggs, as soon as I say that, your eyes light up like dinner plates. More soon. 15 minutes away from 9 o'clock. Let's go to the market for race number 9, the Swan Draft Handicap.
And $3.50 for Comic Hero, $3.60 Sunlit Fresco, $4 Playing Games, 8 Rapid Rock, and in the first leg of the quaddie, 11 and upwards the others.
All right, Digby Beacham, let's have a little tip at the Swan Draft Handicap.
I think it's a good little race, this one, competitive race. There's 3 horses that are in the market, and that being Sunlit Fresco, Comic Hero, Playing Games. And you can understand the supporters of all 3, because Sunlit Fresco is your leader and is really, really fast. I like the fact that Brad Parnham takes back over today. Comic Hero stepped last weekend, which is not something he normally does, and was okay. In saying that, Cavallo Red went past him, and Playing Games was perhaps a little bit luckless in the run when Chris Parnham was able to give Just St. James a 12 out of 10. And both Comic Hero and Playing Games back here 7 days later, Scott.
And they're really different pattern horses, a few of these, aren't they?
They are. And in the end, I probably took what I thought was maybe the safer option, and that was played the speed here, because I thought that if she jumped, and Sunlit Fresco's got this little habit at the moment of missing it half a step. Now, She's got the brilliant mustering speed to get herself out of that trouble, but I'd just love to see her ping the lids again. I thought if she held Rapid Rock and Cross Statement in the first 200, that she would have a fairly handy advantage over her main dangers. And I think last start, Alex Hearn got the job done, but I think in hindsight, watching that replay, she spent the first 600 with her head pointed to the sky. She was over-racing something chronic. I think they just need to go back to what they did at Bunbury that day when she demolished them and let her run. I really do think that she is just a free-rolling mare where you just let her do her own thing.
She can peel off some impressive numbers. There's no doubt about that at all. Sunlit Fresco. I like the way that Comic Hero finished off, given the fact that he probably needed that run. He hadn't been seen at the barrier trials at all. The market likes the horse as well today, and I'm hoping that they do go along at a better than even tempo in the race for the 1200 to bring him right in with a great winning chance. But again, I flipped and flopped a little in the race, Diggs.
Yeah, look, I can understand why, Darren. I actually sided up with Playing Games, who I think gets, if my maths is correct, a couple of kilos off Sunlit Fresco for being beaten half a length back there on December 7. Low draw, good tempo here. So if the field does string out ever so slightly, I'm suspecting that, Holly will be able to pick a poison and pick a path, which last week it just didn't work out. So I'm prepared to forgive Playing Games, and you're getting, what are we here now, $4 with Tab Touch. So 5 on top from 4 Comic Hero, 3 Sunlit Fresco, and 6 Cross Statement. He's probably on his mark in and around this grade these days, but the trial behind Want to Winner was terrific, and we saw what Want to Winner was able to do last weekend. So 6 Cross Statement in for 4th, 5, 4, 3 and 6.
Okay then, Scotty, so Sunlit for you?
Yeah, and wasn't the third horse in that Want to Winner trial Sonatea?
Yep. So went down to Bunbury and it was a strange win, wasn't it? She was off the chewy turning for home. I thought, well, she's gone, and then she
didn't look
up
the winner until the last couple of strides.
No, that's right, yeah.
3 for me, Sunlit Fresco, 5 Playing Games, take the fact that she was luckless last week, 4 Comic Hero, 8 Rapid Rock, like all of Brucey K's knocking on the door, and a bit of a watch too on Goldmaker, just off the back of how good Golden Kathleen was last week in the Breeders, first start for Donna Reardon, just watching him on his return. 3, 5, 4, 8.
I'm selecting in the race here, but it's not by any means with huge conviction. I don't mind the fact now that Comic Hero's got back to $3.50, just from a betting point of view in the race there. I thought that he might have been a bit on the unders at the $3, $3.10 mark, so we're back more realistic. 4, 5 Playing Games, 3 Sunlit Fresco, with the caveat that any of the 3 I think can win the race, all things being equal. And I've got to include Bruce Kay's Rapid Rock, like you as well, Scott, too. There's not a horse in the yard that isn't going well at the moment. 4, 5, 3, 8, Dig.
What was I?
I didn't write them down, sorry.
I did. 5, 4, 3, 6.
That's
Thank
why
you,
you're paid
Matthew.
the big bucks, Matthew.
Oh, you reckon? 3, 5, 4, 8 are Scott's tips, and Mac is with 4, 5, 3 and 8 in race number 9.
Well, they pay you in baht, don't they?
I don't know what it is, but it's not enough. Race number 10's at 5.29 for Glenroy Chuff, and the screen is not working, so we'll go on to the tips. Here we go. No, 3.30 now. Deal Her In. 4.40 All Grunt. 6.50 Precious God, and 7 for Timeless Gem.
Okay, important scratching of Too Soon, I felt, at least. It was impressive. When you go to the provincials and you see one that can really just capture your imagination and think, oh, well, this will make a transition to the city, albeit it was a maiden race. I was looking forward to seeing Too Soon this afternoon from Grant and Alana Williams' yard, but we've got to wait. But having said that, at the same time at Pinjarra first up, I was so taken with Deal Her In's performance, and equally so, I was very impressed with her first Ascot run as well. Digby Scotty, let's open the floor up with Deal Her In.
I was team Too Soon, but it was only because I was getting each way about him and not and straight out about Deal Her In.
Well, I'll make a declaration. I'm with you there too. I was very much Too Soon.
Now that he's not in the field, the $3 plus about Deal Her In becomes quite appealing to me, because I'm with you. I thought her run behind Rockin' the Jam, when they backed her again, really,
it was a good
go in betting. I thought it was outstanding behind Rockin' the Jam, and I think he's quite a nice horse. I think all of a sudden goes to barrier number 2, as long as she doesn't find too much traffic, midfield with cover. I think she might be quite a nice filly, this.
Yep, I agree, but I think there's a bit of depth in the race too, Diggs. You've got the inform Precious God from Paula Wagg's yard. All Grunt delivered a Class 1 victory first up in defeating At Your Service, who, of course, is going, pretty well. You've got Timeless Gem, who has got form around Supernatural and placed a Rock on the Jam last start, so it holds up still around the $7 mark. And I mean, when I looked at the markets initially, I thought, oh, they've got this wrong completely. How could they have Naughty Torty at $34 in the betting market with its efforts to Precious God and Too Soon, who we liked in the race? So I've got to include it, but it's not on top, but it's down in the order, the pecking order for the exotics.
I'm with Deal Her In. The figure that she produced on debut was very, very good, and then perhaps a little bit luckless the other day. Sean will now know that she just needs some galloping room, and from barrier 2, I think if he sees clear air at the right time, she can put her opposition to bed. I'm really excited about this race. Unfortunately, Too Soon's come out, but we're looking at some horses here who some are going to be finding their way towards a Derby, some will be finding their way towards an Oak. They meet here. But I think Deal Her In, lightly raised, 2 starts only. She looks to filly with upside.
She does, and she'll get my nod as well. Scotty.
I think when you watch that replay behind Rockin' the Jam, and remember that she meets Timeless Gem and Precious God both 1 kilo better at the weights, if she had even luck, I think she would have beaten them last start. So she beats them here today for mine. 11, Deal Her In. 3, All Grunt. Good win, 3 subsequent winners out of that race already. Looks as though the 1,400 metres will be no worries at all to him. 2, Timeless Gem. Still think he wants further. I think he's already looking for a mile. And 5, Precious God. Very consistent filly. 11, 3, 2, 5.
Yeah, I think it's just more fruit for Peter Morley's side table. Deal Her In is the way that I'm going as well, from the 5, Precious God, 2, Timeless Gem. And I'm going to be including Simon Miller's Naughty Torty there as my little long shot place chance in the race. 11, 5, 2, 8, Matt.
And Diggers?
11, 3, 5, 2 for me. Deal Her In quite keen.
3, 5, 2. Scott's 11, 3, 2, 5. And Darren is 11, 5, 2, 8 in race number 10. The 11th race is at 1 minute to 6. It's the Bellis Racing Join a Racing Syndicate handicap. It's over 1,600. And again, the market is a little slow rocking over. 230 from 290, Rock the Jam. 3 out to 420, El Patron. 480 for Great Demon, and then 12 into 9, Forever Dreaming, and double figures the others.
Okay, well, we've been touching upon Rockin' the Jam, gentlemen. Do we go here once again for it to make it 2 out of 2 for trainer Russell Stewart?
Yes. And quite an emphatic yes from me. I just think if you looked at the two different races that he was nominated for, this one and the previous, he's not running into Dealer Inn, he's not running into All Grunt, and he actually carries 3.5 kilos less in this field than what he would have against his own age group. It looks like they've picked out the right race for him. He looks as though third up a mile will suit. Maybe I've got a minor issue with where he gets to in a tricky little map for Stevie Parnham, but I'm very confident he's on the best horse in the field.
Speaking of maps, does it just evolve here that JD hops to the front, Digby, and does El Patron sort of try and kick up there and hold his back, or how do you see it unfolding?
Well, El Patron's an on-speed horse, no doubt. JD can be ridden for speed. We've seen that previously, but there's sufficient tempo. I'm with Scott. It's a completely different map for mine, Rockin' the Jam, to what we saw on the 25th of January, but he looks a big boy. He stretched out beautifully once he saw daylight.
Lovely horse.
Yeah, he got a nice action, and he was powerful through the line. So the 1600 isn't an issue, and I dare say with the scratching of Too Soon, if he was in that 3-year-old 1400-metre race, Scott, he would be firm in the market.
I just think this has got so much less quality than the 3-year-old race. So 3-year-old, older horses, graduation. 6, Rockin' the Jam. 4, Great Demon on the back up. At least he gets out to a mile now. Yeah. He's racing like he wants 2,000.
Yeah.
1, El Patron. And 8, No Peer. Well, she's in career best form, this mare. Admittedly coming out of easier races for sure, but she's got a wonderful chance here to be competitive on a Saturday. 6, 4, 1, 8.
6, 4, 1, and the difference for me, 2, Forever Dreaming. Just a little bit of a tough watch last start. Troy Turner takes back over. She has to carry the 60, and she goes from a Westby Platinum up to a graduation, but she is going along okay, this mare. 6, 4, 1, 2.
Scotty, Embry and I are both singing off the very same psalm sheet here, folks. I can't find a point of difference at all between he and his thoughts and mine as well. I'm 6, 4, 1 and 8, Rockin' the Jam, and I think it could provide us with a nice second leg of a double for Russell Stewart's yard today.
All right, everyone agreeing with the trifecta, 6, 4 and 1. Then Scott and Mac have got 8 for fourth. Digby's put in 2 for first 4 players in race 11. Brings us to race 12 of 12 at 6.29. Tab Touch, have you got the touch handicap? And this is over 1,600 metres, the final event of the day. And the favourite at $3.70, Satino, $4, Bruce Almighty, $4.80, the Spruker, and $5, Ginger Green. Of the other 3, 10 into $8.50, Sowell.
I didn't think it was an easy race. I know it's only a small field. It's a surprisingly small field for the last leg of the quaddie.
It is.
Haven't seen one this small on a Saturday.
Interesting choice for the last from the quaddie's last leg, but a very similar race to that Memory Parade our mate Archie field earlier on. Small field of only 7. I would put my hand up and say there's probably 7 winning chances. If I wanted to be harsh on one, maybe Kisses from Kelly.
Yeah, it's got a bit of race 5 feel about it, this one. It's a tough one to decipher.
You know, one of the outsiders being Heskett. He was good last week in that Benji's Bruce Almighty race. He just couldn't get clear when he needed to.
Well, if you like Bruce Almighty, you have to make a case for Heskett. I'm with Scott. It wouldn't be a shock if any 7 of these, were able to pop up.
I tipped Satino in the race, but I'm not tripping over myself saying, you've got to have your last on this in the last. There's no way in the world. But, look, I think he's a chance back to 1,600 metres. I think Ginger Green deserves to win a race. He's doing everything but win one right at the very moment, so it would be great if Steel Casey could come up with at least one winner today. Bruce Almighty's going along well. Finds himself probably in front. The Spruker's ticking over nicely also. And, then you've got, I know you've mentioned Heskett, but the one that I did thought that could run a nice race here on a freshen is Kisses from Kelly. But I just didn't have a firm handle on the race, to be honest. I went with Satino. The money is there reasonably enough. Clint Johnston Porter. I thought it could be Ginger Green, but, I think for the connections, I'd love to see Ginger Green win.
No deductions through Street Parade, so it's 5 into $3.70 for Satino. So he's the one that the early punters have been interested in. Month between runs, 18 back to 16, and like everything in this field, they've all got intertwining form references. They've all raced against each other recently, with the exception of Kisses from Kelly. 5, 1, 2 and 8, Satino but no push. Bruce Almighty, geez, in good form and he's tough, the old boy. 2, Ginger Green and 8, the Spruker. 5, 1, 2 and 8.
Okay, that's got a nice enough ring to it, those numbers. Digby?
I'm with Bruce Almighty here. I thought Chris Parnham would find the top, and I didn't think he'd have to absorb too much pressure, and that might be key given he's at 1,600 and he has to lug the 60.5. But he is going well. He is on the spin. And I just thought he could maybe get away with a cheap fraction or two here, Chris. So 1 on top from 2, Ginger Green. Thought he might pop to his outside. 5, Satino, and 8, the Spruker. But, you know, it wouldn't be a shock if Sowar runs well. Kisses from Kelly off a little fresh and back in trip as well. 1, 2, 5, 8.
5, Satino. I'd be very happy to see Ginger Green get the job done, though, for the owners involved. They don't need a reason to celebrate and have a cold one, Diggs, but
no,
this would give them one.
Indeed it would.
8, the Spruker, and 1, Bruce Almighty. 5, 2, 8 and 1 to the last event, race 12.
And Scott is with 5 to beat 1, 2, 8. Diggers has gone 1 from 2, 5, 8. And Darren has put 5 on top ahead of 2, 8 and 1.
Well, you're not starved of choice in terms of trying to find a best for the day, Dix. 12 of them.
Yeah, race 2, number 6, Eccentric Nature for I.
Right, Scotty?
I've got 3 of them. Race 1, number 3, Playfair. Race 7, number 1, Ice Pick Nicholas. And race 11, number 6, the best of them, Rockin' the Jam.
I'll be on bended knee and going with Stylish Lord. Race 6, number 1. Lay for the day, Digby.
Race 2, number 7, So Lucky just gets in the category.
We need to stop doing this.
Yes.
Why? What are you there as well?
Same. So Lucky. We went down together last week, though.
Yes.
Golden Vale's too good for us.
Yeah, and Elpatron a couple of weeks before that.
No, but then we got him beat again.
Yeah, he gets himself
Chuck him in there again today.
He doesn't need us. No, So Lucky, just because Eccentric Nature's my best.
Fair call. I'll make it race 7, number 6, Miss Flirtatious for me. Okay. Yes, she's my little lay for the day. What about a play for the day for you?
Race 2, number 6, Eccentric Nature, into race 10, number 11, Deal Her In, both to win, $9 and 7.
I'm going for a Dusty Rusty double today as my play, Scotty. Yours?
In the Cyril Flower, 1, 3, 5. Boxing in the try. That's Norwich, Twain's Angel, Man Crush.
Okay, you telegrammed that one a little earlier. I'm going to make it Stylish Lord, race 6, number 1, and then bring it home with a bit of rock on the jam. Race 11, number 6 is my play, a Russell Stewart play for the day. How does that sound to you, Matty McDermott?
Sounds fine to me.
Got a nice ring to it?
Yep.
Okay, that'll do. There's a lot of numbers there in and amongst the 12 races that we've just had a good look at.
Don't ask me to repeat them.
No, I won't be doing that. It'll take all day. Written down there on our one and only Dunny roll. Thanks for your time this morning, Matt, and to our listeners as well, more importantly.
Thank you, Darren, Digby and Scott. Good calling, good punting.
Put me back on.
All right, yep.
Okay, we'll be back about 15 minutes before they go on the first this morning at 11:54. And hopefully, amongst all of those races, we managed to cobble a few winners together.
Cross fingers, good calling, Darren, and good tipping and punting, Scott and Digby.
DAB Radio, the home of